Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chord Dave. So good that I put my name on a t-shirt, even though I might have done that myself. Nice to see you all. Thanks for joining me Saturday night, Chord Dave Live. Cheers to you. Let's put that down there. Hope you're all having a good week. Mine has been fine, but you may have noticed no video Tuesday, like I told you it was going to be. We'll get into reasons why later, but you know, it's been a fun week. As you can see, there's a question of the stream hastily put together about 10 minutes ago. What is the best music inspired movie and who should have one made? So the who should have one made part is what band or musician would you like to see a movie made of? Of course, let's hit a target. So let's do 40 likes and I will tell you who I think should have a movie made about them. And some of my favorites will, I'm sure, come up throughout the stream because you guys know stuff. So these are pretty cool. So let's get talking and chatting and all sorts of stuff. And we'll talk about those Rev Stars come out during the week. See what you think of those. I think they're pretty cool. And yeah, any questions you have, pop them in the chat there and let's get into it and see how we are for the next couple of hours. Robert Gallagher was the first one to be here. Even though Marcia says she was here first, but hey. It says, I got the beverages chilled just in time. Nice one, Robert. Yeah, chilled beverages are always important. I was out yesterday in the supermarket. I was like, better buy some beers for tomorrow for the live stream. So it was on my mind all day. Marcia, of course, as I said that for the record, she was here at 4 p.m. It's like 10 p.m. now, so it's pretty early. I'm guessing in your time. So good job. Let me see. Be a hero. Remember to smash the thumbs up button. Absolutely. Share the stream, social media, and please subscribe if you haven't already, or else we will hunt you down. Ooh, it's a bit aggressive. Really helps the channel grow. Absolutely, Marcia. Thank you so much for constantly reminding people to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and join in the chat. That's important too, because you know we're all part of a big Chord Dave family, and yeah, it's super cool to see your guys' thoughts and everything. So yeah, thanks for that, Marcia. Appreciate it. Todd Moore, nice to see you, sir. Glad to have you here as always. The first like of the evening. Nice one. Nice one. Good stuff. Grandpa Joe is here all the way from New York. Thanks, Grandpa Joe, for popping by. Good to see you as always. And hello to Anne. Nice to see you as always again. Al is here. Good to see you, Al. Nice to see you again. And you're saying you missed Marcia on Tim Pierce's live stream. You guys cheating on me with other guitar YouTubers? I mean, I'm starting to get that vibe. I don't know. It's kind of it's uncalled for. I don't cheat on you guys with other audiences. So we'll have to talk about this. I'm just kidding. Would have loved to have gone to that. Tim Pierce is very cool. I really enjoy his stuff on YouTube. But I was working all day, so I didn't get a chance. But Saturday work is soon to be a thing of the past. So happy about that. Robert is here all the way from Australia. It's good to have you here with us. Robert, hope you're doing well. Hope your breakfast went well or is going well. Anyway, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you may be in the world. Yeah, thanks for joining us, Robert. And Mr. Bugfoot is here as well, working on that SG, no doubt. Came up with some interesting names for the SG after last week's stream. Pretty interesting conversation there, so good stuff. SB is here and says, I had a Bonamassa podcast ad play when I joined. WTF? Well, you know, it would be funny if I was on that podcast someday. That'd be the ultimate. Let's turn it around. And Glenn Bailey, nice to see you, Glenn. How are you? Let me see who else we've got. Lots of good stuff here. Chris from Coburg is here, and he says, "How's the crack?" Well, crack's going well at the moment. Although I almost spilled my beer, wouldn't want that to happen. But yeah, crack is mighty, as we say. Todd says, wow, the room got crowded while I was making coffee. It's too late for coffee, Todd. What are you doing? It's 10 p.m. I'll never sleep. So yeah, it has to be the beer for now. Jeff Squires, good to see you as always. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, lots of cool people are in the room today, I see. So good stuff. All the cool people are here. Benny Larson, nice to see you. Benny, just confirming the fact all the cool people are here. And yeah, nice to see Ernie B as well. So all good stuff, guys. Let me see, I'll catch up with all the hellos and everything in a moment, but let's see where we are. 15 here, only 10 likes, says Benny, and people seem to have caught up there. So good job, Benny, reminding everybody. And Jeff says, when are you doing a show on Gary Moore, The Black Rose, one of my favorite albums? Yeah, it's definitely something I'd look to do, something like that. The last 6 months, my time has been extremely limited. I've wanted to do so much more, but I haven't actually got I've like a list of things I want to do on a channel like you wouldn't believe, but just haven't had the time. So you may have noticed I still haven't made a video about the Flying V. It's that delayed my list. So I think that's the priority right now. But yeah, Gary Moore, that would be a cool video to do. Might even just do a why you should listen to Gary Moore video, or just a history lesson. I don't know. Whenever I make a music video, people tend not to watch it. So like anything on YouTube, you're trying to get views, you're trying to get people to subscribe to your channel by watching the channel more. Because it takes 4 to 5 views in quick succession to get someone to subscribe to your channel generally. So YouTube say anyway. So you want them to keep coming back video after video and hitting the subscribe button then after that 4th or 5th one. And yeah, it shows in the analytics, but every time I make a music video, it's like no one watches. It's like the core guys, like you guys here will watch, and everyone else will be like, no, not watching it. So yeah. Music related or musician related videos get pushed down my list of things. You know, if I'll hear something is coming out in the guitar world, whether it's a big release or not, it'd probably take priority. I'd love to do something like that though. That'd be cool. Gary Moore was one of the greatest. Travis Edwards is here. Nice to see you, Travis. Thanks for joining us. And Alan said, have you officially changed employers? No. 21st of March is the new gig starts, and the old gig continues until next Saturday, and then I have a bit of time off in between the two of them to catch up on YouTube and a couple other projects I'm working on. Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine about movie stuff this week, and I was like, oh, I could get back into that. Like, that'd be a lot of fun. So yeah, there's always something going on. But no, the gig is still the gig, and it's kind of frustrating I'm still there right now, to be honest. I don't know how you guys feel, but if you're changing jobs, when I'm changing jobs, I just lose interest in the one I'm leaving, and I've lost interest in my work right now. So I'm kind of half-assing it because I just don't care anymore. I'm like, dude, in a week I'm gonna be out of here. So yeah, anyway, I still have to do it. I still have to turn up and do the show. Or not, no, it's not a show. Do what I'm supposed to do. But yeah, I'm not enjoying it this last couple of weeks. Let me see. I was supposed to do something for this stream, wasn't I? I was, and I forgot about it. Oh well, next week. Scott Bugfoot literally called you his second favorite channel on 5 Watt World. I was there. I mean, heard about it. Do you like 5 Watt World, Dave? Yeah. So first of all, Crushing Heartbreak. Second favorite? Is that I don't understand those words. Second favorite what? Yeah, that's but no, 5 Watt World is a great channel. I love watching their stuff. I find when I watch their stuff, I'm like, I'm never going to be that good a YouTuber. So yeah, I do love what they do, but they make me feel very inadequate. Same as the guitarist says, I love their channel, but every time I watch their channel, it makes me one of two things. Be like, damn, my video is nowhere near good enough. And two is like, damn it, I should buy those guitars they're selling or they're showing, not selling. But yeah, Guitarist makes me do that all the time. You should subscribe to Guitarist, by the way, if you haven't. It's a fantastic channel. I love it. And they have this cool subscription model they're doing now, which I think everyone should sign up to. It's great to see them doing something different than getting sponsors and things like that. And like being one of those lame channels that tries to sell you t-shirts and things, because you know, who wants to buy merch from some stupid YouTuber that's got like their name written on it or something, you know, because like links in the description or something. Oh, who does that? That's stupid. Should just do that subscription model instead. Anyway, you know what to do. It's probably the worst link to merch anyone's ever done on YouTube. Hey, what are you gonna do? XMG12 says, I think CGS and Robson has spent a load of time drooling off Gary's guitar and style. CGS, a China guitar skeptic, I presume, unless I'm thinking of someone else. But that's, yeah, probably. I mean, Gary Moore is one of the greatest. Can't really be too. I mean, just, I don't know. Can't say too many good words about it, to be quite honest. Al says, not sure what you're referring to. Music, best music inspired movie, but for me, nothing beats the music in the original Blues Brothers movie. That is a great movie, Al. What I specifically mean is something like the biopics, like the likes of the Bohemian Rhapsodies, Ray, for example, a good few years ago now. The Walk the Line, I think, was the Johnny Cash one. Now, those movies inspired, like they were written or made as biographies, basically, of the artists, is what I'm thinking of. Hoping so you guys will give me some good stuff to watch. Now that I will probably have a couple of days off over the next few weeks. That's why I want to know. Let me just pop that back up, actually, just in case people are forgetting it. But yeah, question of the stream. So yeah, that's the kind of thing I mean. But yeah, Blues Brothers is an amazing movie. One of my favorites of all time. You just can't beat it. Absolutely great movie. So let's have a little look at a couple other things. Yeah, as I said, we did I bring a picture of them? The Revstar. That's the one we did this week. I thought they were pretty cool. I like them. I've always liked Yamahas. I've never really been interested in buying one, but I like this P90 one with the racing tailpiece or whatever they're calling it. I think it's pretty cool. Matt Van Bosch, nice to see you, sir. Says, hi Dave, enjoyed the video on Revstar revamps. Stainless steel frets on the standard series really impressed me. A great spec at that price point. Yeah, absolutely. I think if you did enjoy the look of the Revstar from the video, and look, I know lots of YouTubers were covering the Revstar recently on Thursday, I think they came out, so that's when my video went out. If you do like the look, the standard seems to be almost as good as the professional. I couldn't make any discernible difference between the two, so I would say that's the one to go with. It definitely seems to be a huge bang for the buck, and if you're into the Revstar, and as you can see, like, I think it's a pretty guitar. I think they look really nice. Some of the colors are questionable, like that yellow one in the Element range, but what I like about it, and I think I said it in the video, was a lot of them were most of the colors are available across all the ranges. So if you want a color, you can get it even at the cheaper price point. There's no real difference in colors available in the mid-range and the higher end ones, and all the cool features like actual rosewood fretboards across the board, and they had the stainless steel frets on the medium and the higher end. Obviously, when you come to like $399, you're gonna cut costs a little bit, and where they're cutting costs is, they're keeping the rosewood, which is interesting, but the body is going to be made up of 472 pieces. The pickups are going to be less good than the other ones, and the stainless steel frets got hopped out for fret wire. They didn't say what kind of fret wire, just fret wire. But yeah, thanks for watching that video, Matt. Really appreciate it. Yeah, and it was a fun one to make. As I said, I liked the fact that they came out and did something a little bit different to other companies, and yeah, I'm pretty cool. Wouldn't mind adding a Revstar to the collection this year, but as I said, I'm trying not to buy guitars right now. Glenn says, I liked the movie Almost Famous, and I would like to see a movie on Little Feat or AC/DC. AC/DC would be a cool one. Wouldn't mind seeing that. Almost Famous is a great movie. Yeah, I've enjoyed that many times. A movie I watched recently. This kind of maybe was the inspiration for this, and don't ask me why I watched it. I don't know. It just came up in my suggested feed, so I watched it. Rockstar. Did you ever see that? The Mark Wahlberg Rockstar movie? Oh my God. It's like one of the worst movies of all time. It's not even it's not even just how cheesy it is. It's just bad. It's just a bad movie. like Jennifer Aniston's in it. Mark Wahlberg. I don't even want to remember anyone else who's in it. It was just terrible. And it was originally called Metal God, I believe, which is even worse. So, anyway, if you've never seen Rockstar, don't watch it. It's terrible. Jeff Squires agrees Blues Brothers is classic, and I presume you've all seen Brothers 2000. That was interesting. Of course, the original Blues Brothers, what a movie. Um, did try to show the lady friend at one point, wasn't interested. Nearly got divorced. Not married, but nearly got divorced anyway. It was that serious a crime. Anyway, yeah, check out Blues Brothers if you haven't seen it. Fantastic movie. Todd says Keith's content on FWW is top shelf for sure, but if you watch enough, his rhythm is off when reading his own scripts at times. You're unscripted and very entertaining. Apples and oranges. Yeah, that's true. I am unscripted all the time. I do write out what I'm going to write, and then I forget it. So, yeah. Yeah, writing or presenting to script is hard. It's one of the hardest things to do on YouTube. So, that's actually a good point. It's a good point. So, thanks for that compliment, Todd. Really appreciate it. But yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Al says Blues Brothers had Chaka Khan, Elvin Bishop, Ray Charles, Steve Cropper, Donald Duck Dunn, and a ton of other major musicians. It did. It had everyone. Everyone was in it. It was great. Of course, Aretha was in there as well, and a few others. There was a good Aretha Franklin movie recently. What was it called? That's the kind of thing I'm talking about, like about their whole breakthrough in the industry and all that sort of stuff. That was a really interesting movie. I can't. What was her name? Jennifer Hudson is in it. Can't remember the name of the movie now. But anyway, if you haven't seen that one, check it out. Check out that movie. I can't remember the name of. That's the one. Glenn liked the Temptations movie. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Basketball Diary soundtrack. I'm sure I remember the soundtrack specifically, but if you say it's good, I'll take your word for it. Vincent, nice to see you. Vincent Doyle. Hello, Cleveland. Hello, indeed. I presume that's a reference to that other movie, the one with the thing. This is the Spinal Tap. Anyway, Jeff Squires, I've seen Blues Brothers about 100 times. Says Todd Moore. Good stuff. Yeah, I mean, I would have too. And Todd Moore disagreeing with me again. Never have I ever liked Yamaha guitars, but that's okay, Todd. That's okay. I'm going to get rid of this one off the screen then, just to make you happier. Pop that back up. Jeff always watches BB when it comes on, which I presume is Big Brother. You always watch Big Brother. All right, sweet. Well, didn't need to reveal that. It says obviously my Blues Brothers. It's cool. Ernie says really like the stainless steel frets and the P90s on the Revstar. The Professional had carbon fiber in the body attached to their bridge and tailpiece. Big dollars for Pro. Yep. Yeah, I did try to make that point. That it was carbon fiber reinforced neck. Although they weren't in the press release making any reference to the carbon fiber in the body. It's definitely there in the Professional. I don't know if it's in the standard, but it did appear to be. But officially, I don't think they're saying it anyway. But I think those bodies are the same from what they're making out. Todd says, AC/DC Let There Be Rock is my favorite music movie, followed closely by Led Zeppelin. The song remains the same. As for who should get a movie, The Who. The Who movie would be fantastic. There was a shockingly bad one. Speaking of bad ones, there was a really bad Jimi Hendrix one made a few years ago. And the guy from Outkast played Jimi Hendrix. And some dude who played Keith Richards, and he was awful. He looked nothing like him. And he just put on a terrible London accent. What was the name of that movie? I don't know, but they shot it in my hometown where I grew up. And it's... which is probably like bad for my hometown because it still looks like it's the 1960s there, but but yeah, it was a pretty awful movie. So there's another one not to watch. For you, Song Remains the Same is always fun, and Let There Be Rock I don't think I've ever actually seen, but yeah, good choice. I think I saw a thing the other day where Brian May said that the Beatles should get the biopic treatment because young people don't know much about the Beatles anymore. I don't think that's true. I think like with Get Back and everything coming on, I think kids know about the Beatles. Plus parents. I mean, that's how I learned about the Beatles. I grew up in the 80s and 90s. It was my parents had them on. Like they weren't doing live tours or anything, from my recollection. Let me see. Jeff says, I think I've watched 4 Yamaha vids, Nightmares of Acoustasonics Haunting Me. Yeah, it was one of those. It was one of those where I made the video and then I put it up, and then I woke up the next day and I was like, oh crap, everyone's doing one of them. It was kind of one of those PRS moments. The Silver Sky SE. It was like, oh, they're everywhere again. But anyways, it'll pass in a few days. It'll pass. Hopefully. Let's have a look. So Martha's back. Marcia is back. Martha. I said Martha because I watched the Batman last night. Brilliant movie, by the way. If you like Batman movies, I think you'll enjoy that one. I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Didn't want to like the kid, the Robert Pattinson as Batman. I went in being like, oh, he's not going to be a good Batman. Came out gone, he was a really good Batman. So yeah, it was a good movie if you're into Batman. Jeff Squire says Zach Wilde and Jeff Pilson are in Rockstar. Zach Wilde was hilarious in it, just not like probably on purpose, but I was like watching it, think every time he came on, I was like, dude, that's Zach Wilde. How did they manage to get him? Definitely a low point in his career, I think, but it's pretty funny. The acting scenes he does, I don't know what I was thinking. It was pretty bad. Todd says Rockstar is shite. It was originally titled Metal God because it was a true story of Tim Ripper Owens joining Judas Priest ripoff. Yeah, it's. I mean, true story. Some of this, just the way they've done it in that movie though, is just everything about it is bad. Yeah, it's obviously quite close to that story, but it was shite. It was absolutely terrible. Like, over on my brother's YouTube channel, he does a series called Worst Movie Ever, where he watches these terrible movies and then does reviews of them. And I'm like, you need to watch Rockstar. You need to watch it, and you need to make a Worst Movie Ever show about it, because it is genuinely one of the worst movies I have seen. And it got to the point where I was watching it and saying, why am I watching this? Is it because I believe it's so bad it has to get better? But here's the thing, I remember seeing it years and years ago. I don't know what it was. And you know who else is in it? Miles Kennedy. He plays the guy that Marky Mark pulls up on stage and lets sing when he leaves the band. So anyway, that's what's in that. Yeah, it's an awfully terrible movie. Scott says, I don't really like biopics. The Doors movie was cool. Oliver Stone one. I would rather watch full-on documentaries like the Woodstock one. Death in the Front Row is one I'd like to see. Yeah, so the music documentaries are pretty cool. I do watch a lot of documentary stuff myself, and I mean, each to their own. I do like, biopic. Some of them are not great, but some of them are fun, and a lot of them they make up portions of the story as well. They're just like, that wasn't exciting. Let's just throw in some like, not lies, but like, let's just make it a little bit more exciting, and then like throw in some hookers and drugs. It'll do it. Uh, yeah, I worked in the movie business. It's not all 100% legit. Everything's fair, and it's just, yeah, it's seedy and gross. That's the movie game. SB says, I'm back. My Wi-Fi died. I assume Gibson targeted my router. Yeah, they do that. They do that to me all the time. I mean, that's why. That's the only reason I don't have like 100,000 subscribers on YouTube is Gibson are targeting me all the time. Damn it. I wish that was true. It's just because no one's watching my videos. Glenn says, song remains the same many, many times. Was always playing Midnight Show with Rocky Horror when I was a teen. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I remember my friend showing it to me for the first time, being like, oh, this is like one of the coolest things of all time. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Matt Van Bosch says, Rockstar, fun fact, Michael Starr of Steel Panther makes a very brief appearance in the audition scenes. Oh yeah, I thought you looked familiar, actually. Yeah. that is cool. Yeah, it's so many people. You're like, you're tarnishing your reputation by being associated with this movie, but hey, there you go. The Runaways movie, that was good, actually. Yeah, that was good. I enjoyed that, Chris. That's a long time ago now since I've seen that, but that was a good one. Yeah, for sure. Matt Guitar Murphy could have a movie made about him. That would be interesting. Yeah, I think a lot of people would like to see that. Am I Crazy. Was there a Thin Lizzy one? Do you guys remember a Thin Lizzy or a Phil Lynott one a few years ago? Just when I was thinking about the question earlier, I was like, I think there was a Thin Lizzy one and I meant to see it. Or definitely a Phil Lynott one, maybe. It might be a documentary, I don't know. But anyway. Um, Todd thinks The Door's a good flick. Jim was one of a kind. Jim was one of a kind. Um, Not to everyone's taste though. I used to have a boss who was actually quite friendly with. She just lived down the road, and whenever you walked past her house, you would just hear the doors blasting out like any time of day or night. It was just like all she listened to. It was weird. Cool chick though. It's cool. Glenn, they played that show every weekend in Toronto. That would be good. The song remains the same, and the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Very cool. Um, there you go, Marcia. You put that question up. Rockstar's Ripper Owens Judas Priest movie, right? Yeah, it's pretty much that one. Um, yeah, for sure. Rock of Ages was quite good. Plus Catherine Zeta-Jones. I haven't seen that one. Yeah, I don't know why. Something just keeps stopping me from watching it. Maybe Russell Brand. Is he in it? I don't know. But yeah, I don't think I want to. I don't know. Maybe it's Tom Cruise. Um, anyway, Chris says I met John Densmore and he hates the Doors movie, as he should. That's interesting. Yeah, yeah, that would be pretty interesting to know. Ernie B, congrats on the new job. Enjoy your time between. Thanks, Ernie. Yeah, I will absolutely. Enjoy my time. I should have about 10 days, and my plan is to make videos to play guitar a lot more than I have been, and not to buy a new guitar. We'll see how that goes. Stephen Monroe says Joe Walsh inspired movie would be Carnage. A Joe Walsh one would be pretty interesting, actually. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Do you guys remember? Did you see the? I don't know if anyone's mentioned it yet. Did you see the Motley Crue one a few years ago on Netflix? It was called The Dirt. Obviously, there was a book called The Dirt a few years before that. What do you guys think of that one? Because I enjoyed it at the time, but I think I don't really want to watch it ever again. So, um, Marcia says, "Can someone fill me in on cue of the day every time I look at the screen?" Dave moves away, clearly on purpose. Jeez, Dave. Marcia, come on, we've got to have some fun. It's been up long enough now. Come on, it's just what it is, and hopefully I'll take it away again in a few minutes, and you'll miss it also just for fun. Just kidding, of course. A movie about Gary Moore could be interesting. He had the conflicts that could be dramatized, but who would get to star as Gary Moore? Yeah, there would be a good movie. I think anybody stepping into the shoes of Gary Moore would have a lot to live up to. That would be cool. I've always thought a Rory Gallagher one would be cool because I just want to see more Rory Gallagher stuff and more people introduced to Rory. But yeah, uh, it would be a very cool thing to do. I did almost attempt to do it myself at one point back in the movie making days, but yeah, it just would. I actually met an actor, unknown actor. Actually, yeah, he's an unknown actor I worked with before, and my brother and I were working and with him. We were like, that guy could play Rory Gallagher. That would be amazing. Like he looks just like him. Don't know what he's up to now, but he's probably still being an actor. But yeah, it wasn't to be. At least not at that time. The Pistols and the Clash were my Beatles. The Pistols and the Clash sounds like they weren't too bad. Yeah, for sure. Good stuff, Chris. Yeah, there was some good bands to be listening to. Ben Allmark, nice to see you, says if the kids don't know the Beatles yet, you can bet they will eventually. Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. You can't turn around. You can't go through musical education without picking up the Beatles at some point. Whether you like them or not is your own cup of tea. I don't know if that sentence made any sense, but I know a couple of people who don't like the Beatles, and I knew one guy years ago, and he was trying to impress a girl who was in a group of friends, and he was like, I just don't think the Beatles were that special. Like they never did anything that changed music. They didn't, people say that they were like this big influence on music, but they never really like did anything new. It's like, yeah, okay, dude, whatever. So he did not impress the girl he was trying to impress. In fact, pretty sure she had nothing to do with him. So there you go. Uh, but yeah, it's pretty true. Like you can't go through like your musical education without coming across the Beatles a couple of times. Glenn says, saw Joe Walsh once. He was smashed and almost fell off the stage. That's what happens when you are Ringo Starr's, what is he, his brother-in-law? It's just how things go. That's all interconnected. Todd says, I'll see the Batman on your recommendation, sir. Did not care for the Dark Knight trilogy. Maybe don't go on my recommendation because I liked it. I didn't like the last one of the two. I thought the Dark Knight itself, the Dark Knight movie with the Joker, I thought it was great. But yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the last one. But this one was cool, very dark. It's a great car chase in it, halfway through or so. And this is a fight scene. But I'm pretty sure there's a bit of music in there that just goes Batman, and I'm like, that was hilarious. So it had me cracking up. But I did enjoy it. It was 3 hours long though. It's pretty long. Jeff says, Chris, I seen the Clash live. Strummer had a mohawk. Awesome. What's Scott Bugfoot saying? Does Aliyah have a movie about her? I have no idea. Yeah, not sure. So that's for sure. John Brad is here. Greetings, sorry I'm late. Happy birthday, Rory. Always worth pointing out. Yeah, for sure. Let's see, Jeff. That is so cool. I was 10 when they broke up. So you probably weren't going to shows at that point. Cushman NYC, nice to see you. How are you? I liked Sid and Nancy, even though it was not Sex Pistol accurate. That was an interesting movie. I saw it when I was way too young to see it. I actually can't remember when it came out, but I was probably way too young to see it. Remember it being interesting. SB says, I'm watching Pam and Tommy and it's meh. Plus, they made Motley Crue like they're special people. It's kind of what Motley Crue look like in a lot of things. I haven't watched any of that yet. People are telling me it's not very good, so I don't know if I'll get around to watching it. At some point I might. We'll see. Yeah, Motley Crue though, what a band. So you should check. If you haven't seen the Dirt, I believe it's called, on Netflix. It is worth a watch, I think. But yeah, they kind of came across as dumbasses in that movie too. John says the best music documentary, The Last Waltz. Scorsese shot that, so yeah, it was cool, for sure. Uh, yeah, great movie though. I remember I didn't know Robbie Robertson or the band when I watched that movie, and after I watched it, it was like all I listened to for about 2 months. So, so that's how long ago that was. I didn't know like a lot of bands at the time. But that was a great. The Last Waltz is fantastic if you haven't seen it. Ernie Big says, "No way, that was Miles Kennedy." Yeah, it was. It was, yeah, 100%. I think that's why I watched the movie, because someone told me Miles Kennedy was in it, and I was like, "Oh no way! I gotta watch it now to see where he is." And then there he is. So, so yeah, pretty cool little thing. But yeah, it was pretty. Didn't save the movie. I like Miles Kennedy a lot, but his 2 second cameo did not make it up for me. Glenn said, Gibson, those B words. Yep. Where are your new guitars, Gibson? Where are they? Where's the Epiphones? Just tell me where they are. I'm gonna have to just go there and pretend I'm Mark Agnesi someday, and they'll just let me know what's going on. Anyway, Marsha says, people said the movie about Hendrix was really bad, but they said Andre 2000 did a good job with Jimmy's voice, mannerisms, body movements, etc. I didn't hear any of that. I just remember thinking the entire movie was awful. Yeah, so it's a long time since I watched it, and whenever I watched it as soon as it came out, and it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. Dare I say, the story of Joe Bonamassa. I think that'll be a cool one, actually, because Joe had, of course, quite an interesting upbringing, being like the son of a guitar store owner guitar store owners, and then getting to play so young with the likes of BB King and all that sort of crack. So yeah, I think that would be very cool to see actually. Uh, we might all go and watch that movie for sure. Um, I would go and see that movie for sure. Scott Bogfoot says a Meatloaf movie / musical would make millions. It'd probably make a couple of million, all right, yeah, for sure. Lots of Meatloaf love going around right now. He was great in Fight Club, so there's that. Al says Spinal Tap. Yeah, that's a that's a fun movie for sure. Don't want to be a drummer in that world, that's for sure. Peter Frampton was a consultant on Almost Famous. Yeah, and Cameron Crowe, the director, toured with Zeppelin when he was a kid. Like it's basically his life story from when he was that age. Um, so that's interesting. So he was actually at a lot. Like he was the guy who faked being a journalist for Rolling Stone, which is pretty interesting. Then he grew up and became a movie director. So I like that movie. I think it's pretty cool. And it is in my permanent collection of digital movies, um, transitioning from the whole Blu-ray thing and everything else. Um, Question for Dave and the group. I had a horrible experience buying a POS Glary GST guitar. Buy a Harley Benton instead. Glary customer service is horrible. Sorry to hear that, John. Yeah, I have no experience. I think I'd said to you before, I had no experience with Glary. Um, I think to be honest with you, when it comes to budget guitars, they're so good in terms of what they used to be, but um, you still have the risk of one not being good. But you got the same, like as we saw with a recent group member's very expensive custom shop, Flying V, and it wasn't good either. So I think it doesn't really matter how much you're spending. You can still end up with a guitar that's no good and you have to send it back. Um, Interesting though to hear your thoughts on that because people might be interested in Glary guitars. So yeah, maybe let us know what exactly was up with the guitar there, John, because you know we should know as a community, as a guitar community, what's up with these things. SB says it'd be funny if they were after random people. Phone rings, you pick up the phone, heavy breathing, and someone plays. So it says play authentic. Gibson is never going to live that play authentic thing down ever. Like, I mean, what? How did they never think of that? That's just crazy. A YouTube biopic and Bono can play Bono. Bono would probably try to play Bono. Was there a YouTube biopic recently? I seem to remember seeing something. Maybe it was Sing Street and there was like a reference to them. I don't know. But yeah, I kind of over the whole YouTube thing. Um, I've seen him live. I saw him live at Slane Castle, which was a great gig. It was in 2000. It was 20 years ago. No, it was 2001. It was 21 years ago. This summer it was phenomenal. Great night, brilliant music. Everybody was fantastic on the bill, but I've never had a desire to see him again. But yeah, in terms of movie, I don't know, it could be pretty interesting. Yeah, Bono would probably try and play him. Yeah, SB. I love Bono at South Park. Yeah, me too. That was funny. um, Scott reckons he'd be the first in line for a Beastie Boys movie. I think that would be a good one. That would be a very good one, all right, you have to say. Yeah, definitely some good stuff. Todd says, how about an original One Hot Wonder band, Iron Butterfly, called Livin' Lagota da Vida Loca? I don't know if I said that right, but I know, Todd. You're going to have to tell me more about that. You're going to tell me more about that. Ernie B, a Les Paul movie. That might be interesting. There's a lot of conflict, particularly early on. Todd Moore, The Dirt Was Shite. Fucking awful film. Yeah, probably. My only memory of it was actually, I don't know. I remember watching it and Motley Crue were in it. That's about it. So anyway, I know it's been buried. I think It never comes up in searches or like on recommended or anything like that, or watch it again or anything. Never comes up, which I think it's a Netflix original, so it's kind of weird. They're not promoting their stuff again and again. Um, Ben says, I'm watching Pam and Tom about Pam Anderson, Tommy Lee right now, and it's pretty stupid but entertaining. Seth Rogen is in it. I do like a bit of Seth Rogen. I think he's hilarious. And dude works pretty hard as well. He doesn't always make the best stuff, but his work ethic is pretty good. And I know some people who've worked with him and say he's a good dude to be around. So yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. Lemmy. Problem is we Lemmy to play Lemmy because no other bloke is Lemmy. That's true. Yeah. Trying to get someone to play Lemmy would be really difficult. Um, but yeah, Lemmy would be a great one. Absolutely a great one to have. There's that documentary, which is really cool about him. Like, I think even if you're not a Motorhead fan, you would just dig watching Lemmy like all day long. Like he was a cool dude. He was just out there. He was fucking crazy. But yeah, he's sadly missed, of course, Lemmy. Um, and of course, gave us some great music as well. John is telling us about the Glary frets fell out. The tuners were terrible. The maple fretboard has a crack down the middle. It only has 21 frets because the last fret broke off the end of the fretboard by the neck. Wow, that's a lot of issues. Yeah, and they're not willing to take it back, or they're not talking to you at all. I don't know. That's pretty bad. Now, what I would say, having worked in customer service for a while, um, sometimes they might just be overwhelmed or trying to get back to you in time. So if it's in the last week or two, maybe give them an extra couple of weeks. But there's really no excuse for that. Frets came out. Jesus, that's pretty bad. Yeah. How about a Captain and Tennille movie? Their variety show was half nuts. I don't know who that is. Do I? I don't know, but I'm going to take your word for it, Scott. But yeah, I definitely think there's something to that. I think probably, but I think I'm just having one of those moments where I'm just having a, what's going on? Who are these people um, that you're talking about? I mean, um, oh, so here we go. Jeff saying, Jeff Squires. I remember watching the Captain and Tennille. I don't know. Is that a thing somewhere that I haven't heard of? I'll have to look it up. Please forgive me for not being versed about Rory Gallagher, but since you have shared your love for his music, I really enjoyed it, to say the least. Great stuff. Ernie, there's no need to be forgiven. Yeah, a lot of people don't know about Rory. He's very much like, you have to be introduced to him by someone who is a rabid fan, I think. And thankfully, I've come across loads of people because I'm in Ireland and loads of people are very proud of him and stuff like that. It's a festival. It's happening soon. I think it's in May. Just dedicated to it. People come and just play tributes, stuff like that. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of love for him around here, but he's still not widely known here. I was presenting at a film festival once, and I started to talk, just riff about Rory Gallagher, and people were like, "Who's that? What are you talking about?" So, room full of about 100 people were like, "No idea what you're talking about, pal." And so we moved on quite swiftly to whatever the next thing was. But yeah, I was kind of disappointed in that, to be honest. But yeah, you're absolutely I'm glad you're getting into Rory. 'Cause some cool stuff out there to listen to. Al says, Glary guitars are hit and miss. Best use of a Glary is to learn how to mod a guitar. Best use for any cheap guitar, really, yeah, for sure. Not a bad idea there, Al. Glenn says, John, I agree, Joe Walsh rocks, but he did enjoy partying. All the best rock people did, pretty much, I think. At some point or another, they all have these crazy stories. Like, I don't know how Slash is alive, having read his book and Duff's book about the stuff they got up to. Chris says an Oasis biopic. Good luck. Yeah, that would be bizarre because the 90s were bizarre, and for what those kids were getting up to. Yeah, it was weird, and it had the whole Blur and Oasis thing. I don't know how big that came across the Atlantic, but over here, that was massive. Like you were on one side or the other. Um, so yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. I was the right age. I was like 14, 13, 14. So it was a pretty cool time to be getting into music properly. Marcia said, I really liked the Runaways and the Dirt. Both were really well made. Well, our friend Todd Moore is not going to agree with you there. So, not on the Dirt anyway. The Runaways was good. It was very, very good. Um, Ben Allmark says there's a great Beastie Boys documentary that came out not too long ago. Think it's on Apple. Oh yeah, it is on Apple actually. Yeah, it's on the Apple TV Plus thing. So definitely worth watching that. Yeah, for sure. I actually haven't seen it myself yet, but I will watch it because that'll be fun. Love a good music documentary. So excellent stuff. Song Remains the Same was a great flick. Yeah, that was a great flick. There's no doubt about that. I think you guys actually thinking about it coming into the show, I had forgotten about it. So I might have to give it a watch over the next few weeks, to be honest. Um, Todd says, I'll watch it if I can find it. Beastie Boys were the only hip hop act I ever respected. Um, well, there you go. Yeah, I don't pay too much attention to hip hop. I have some friends who are big into hip hop. And I've friends all over the place, and some of them are not into rock music. It's bizarre. Uh, Absolutely, The Last Waltz is top drawer. Absolutely, yeah, it really is. I ran into Motley Crue at 1 a.m. in Manhattan in the 90s. They were getting off a party bus, all tuned up. Three Card Monty, good to see you. Three Card, thanks for joining us. Yeah, really, really interesting story you got there. Um, what makes a person or band worthy of having a movie? What's the requirements? For my money, it would be there has to be like conflict. Well, same as any movie, conflict, intrigue, something a bit bizarre about them, like whether that's they're super talented or they're a little bit crazy or they're somebody everybody loves and you're like, why do people love this person? Like or just they nearly lost it all. There's just some kind of story that makes you kind of there's a roller coaster. You gotta go up, you gotta come down, you gotta go up and then come down again, and then there's a level off in the middle. It's kind of how movies work. So you're going up, you're getting to success, and then it all falls away, and then you make the comeback, and then you kind of lose the girl, and then but it's okay, she likes you again. It's just how all movies work. Um, so yeah. Anyway. But that's it. It's just got to be a fun story, really. Um, Jeff Squire says Motley Crue and Poison was the beginning of shit music. It all came about hairspray. All became about hairspray and looking like a chick. It was the 80s, Jeff. Come on, they didn't know any better. And like, what were they doing? Mascara and weird stuff. Yeah, it's true. I've got a Facebook friend who I don't really know him that well, but he never shuts up about how great Motley Crue are. It's like, I gotta judge you now. Obviously, some good stuff. I mean, Mick Mars is, I think, a very cool guitar player, but the old man. But yeah, it's just kind of weird. It's kind of weird. But anyway. The Asian Redneck says, howdy y'all. Can't stay on long, but here for a bit. Well, just glad to have you. Thanks for dropping by. Tricard Monty says, Joe Bonamassa plays too many notes. Not going to rag on Bonamassa myself personally tonight, but everyone's entitled to their opinion, for sure. But as I said, he's a dude. Does the animated movie Heavy Metal count? Kind of. I remember being like just wanting to get that from the video store when I was a kid and never being allowed to. And then it not living up to my expectations, but still very interesting. Let's see. Where are we going now? Almost Famous, good movie. Yeah, absolutely. Almost Famous does have a great soundtrack, Cushman. Yeah, absolutely. Buy a Donner instead. Glary is horrible. Streetcar Monty with that. Yeah, no experience with either, to be honest with you. I'm sure at some point I'll get a look at one firsthand, but of each of them. But yeah, well, Phil McKnight says that the Donners are pretty good, I believe. I've seen a couple of his videos, and like I said, cheap guitars are getting better and better. So sooner or later, you'll spend $100 and get something really good. But for right now, there's still that hit and miss element with all cheap guitars, I think. Like if you're spending anything less than 300, I think you're still in the hit and miss range. But over that, it seems to be getting pretty good, to be honest. My buddy just bought 3 Glarys. They were, well, okay at best, not great, but I managed to get them playable with a setup, although the frets were rough and sprouty. That's kind of what guitars used to be like. So maybe Glary are doing old school, cheap guitar build things. John says the problem with Glary was covered well by Tone King because the company that makes them makes toasters too. They make everything you can imagine, but their customer service email doesn't know what a guitar is. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I always think companies, like restaurants, that make too many products or have too many items on their menus is never a good thing, you know. Like Mitsubishi, for example, make cars and cars and microwaves and TVs and stereos and all kinds of things. It's like, focus on something, dudes. What are you doing? But then again, you know, they made a lot of money, so what do I know? I would like to see an Alice Cooper biopic. Now that would be interesting. I'd like to see that as well. Yeah, for sure. So has there been an Alice Cooper? There should have been an Alice Cooper one. That's actually crazy yet there isn't. This past week I've seen a couple of guys doing reviews on a budget guitar that's like $50. Brand starts with an F, but that's all I remember. Haven't seen that. Ben, but yeah, I'll be interested to check it out for sure, just to see what it is. Was there a review that it's good or not? I don't know. Let me know. Marsha says a good future cue today would be about music videos and made for movies. Hang on. I'll go read again. A good cue of the day would be about music videos and music made for movies and or TV by famous bands and musicians. That's a whole other interesting topic. So take note of it. Yes, boss. Usually the question of the stream comes about whenever I'm making the thumbnail and I'm like, I need a question of the stream. What am I going to do? And my mind just goes blank. So yeah, I'll think about that one. And you know, send it on to me. Send me on your ideas for questions of the stream if you got any, guys. Very happy to take them on board because I do always struggle with that. What am I going to do each week? Let's see. David Ruiz, nice to see you, David. My favorite music-inspired movie is Sturgill Simpson's The Sound of Fury. Check it out on Netflix. That's interesting. Yeah, definitely will check that out. Too bad Reefer Madness is a rock film. Or isn't a rock film. Well, you know. The video interview of Alice Cooper by Joe Bonamassa was very interesting. Yeah, haven't seen that, so I will have to hunt that out, to be honest, Scott. Yeah, good stuff. Todd says, at that price point, I'm not bothered with a phone call. Firewood. Yeah, it's disappointing, though, when you receive a guitar and it's not up to scratch. So definitely a disappointment there, John. Hopefully, you know, stick with them. Hopefully they'll do something. Tree Card Monty says, the best guitars I own are guitars that I made from scratch. Use great pickups, hardware, and carved the guitar to my liking. Takes about 3 months, but you have to be patient. But it's worth it. You know what? I've so many times said I'm going to make my own guitar. Not just from a kit or anything. Just I'm going to go get the wood. I'm going to do it all. I'm going to learn everything. I'm going to do it. And you just mentioned the one thing why I haven't done it yet. It takes 3 months, so you have to be patient. I am not a patient person. I'm the opposite of patient. I'm impatient. To the point where I was expecting something on Thursday And then I got a call to say that's not happening until next week. I was like, cancel. I might cancel. Don't want to wait next week. Like, it would have left me with nothing. I think it was just, yeah, I don't want to wait. So I'll just take away the waiting side by canceling the entire order. Yeah, so that's how impatient I am. But that's really cool. 3 card Monty. Yeah, we should definitely all think about that. And it's something I'm going to try and do, hopefully over the next year. We'll see. We'll see how time goes. As I said, I'm hoping to be a little bit more available for the next 6 months at least. Adrian X says, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Elton John one was my favorite I've seen. As far as who they should make, I'd say Slash. The Elton John one was actually surprisingly good, because I think the way they handled some topics was really interesting. Where it kind of became a little bit dream like and so forth, like how he would have seen it. I think it was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. It was a good movie. Ben Fesley is the name of those budget knockoffs. They don't look bad, to be honest. Fesley. Yeah, haven't heard of them. Haven't seen those videos, but I'll try and check that out over the next few days and see if we can check them out as well. If they're any good, might put them on the channel. Who knows? We'll see. Marsha's taking over the channel again. Another cool cue of the day would be where famous musicians and bands made cameo appearances as themselves in fictional movies. That could be fun time recalling good/bad cameos. My favorite one will always be the Deadpool. Guns N' Roses were in it. So yeah, I enjoyed that. I think they were all pretty drunk at the time. Motorhead rules. Motorhead does indeed rule. Danny McBride as Lemmy, dressed like he was in the Roadie video. Well, when you think about it, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. Danny McBride could do it, yeah. I don't know. I need to come under a lot of scrutiny, but I think as well, the thing to remember is a lot of these actors try to play these people who actually existed. Their goal is to win an Oscar. So, yeah, so if they do a good job, I don't know if Danny McBride will ever win an Oscar, though. It could happen. It could happen. John says, I finally got an 80% refund after a month. Okay, that's not too bad. It's not too bad an outcome, 80% refund. Look, it's not everything you wanted, but maybe you can take the electronics and put it into another guitar or something like that. Or, as somebody said, like, use it as a mod platform. Maybe get a new neck. You can probably pick up a neck for what you got on the refund and put it on the guitar. Might help out. Lots of things you could do there, John. Yeah, so that's at least they did something. At least they did something for you. 80% is not too bad. At least it wasn't nothing. Matt Von Bosch, Spinal Tap is the one. Yeah, so quotable. What is wrong with being sexy? That line cracks me up every time. Smell the Glove, what an album. Yeah, Spinal Tap is amazing. It's absolutely one of the greatest movies of all time, I think. One of the greatest comedy movies of all time. Cushman NYC, the sure as hell do Motorhead till you're dead. That's Todd Moore saying this, by the way. Everything louder than anything else. Yeah, there was, it was for sure, when Lemmy was around, one of the greatest things was like the going to a Motorhead show. But that Lemmy documentary, I think it's just called Lemmy. Everyone should watch that. It's really, really good. And it goes backstage with them at shows and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. The Captain Never Spoke. Captain and Tennille was on CBS after the Sonny and Cher show. It's probably a other side of the Atlantic thing. That's why I don't know it. All right, well, that sounds like a movie I could watch then, because I wouldn't know any of the story. Todd says, Marsha, you need to make vids for your channel. You've got good ideas for questions, etc. We'd all drop by and harass you, of course. Dude, stop trying to steal my audience. do you like, what? But no, absolutely. Like, yeah, if you got good ideas for videos, absolutely do. Yeah, I'll swing by and say hello, and can all give you a subscribe for sure. So anyone who's interested, let us know. If you're making YouTube videos, tell us. We'll come and check you out. So let me see. No doubt, but you also have to have some carpentry skills. Yeah, that'll be a stumbling block for me too. Um, let's have a look. Todd Moore says, I gotta go. All this Captain and Tennille and Shannon talk has me feeling old. Gonna go watch some Lawrence Welk. Well, Todd, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. As always, my friend, thanks for joining us. Super cool to see you. Have a good rest of your Saturday. Scott says, no, it was Green Day versus The Offspring here. So from Blur versus Oasis, Green Day versus The Offspring. That's not even a contest, is it? Green Day versus The Offspring. Anyway, let you guys decide what side of that I landed on. From the 70s, Dave, Captain and Tennille. Not a thing, honestly, guys. I had no idea. Clapton's life in 12 bars was quite good. Shame he's destroying his legacy lately. It's not lately. Clapton's been trying to destroy his reputation for years, with his behavior and things. But yeah, I get what you're saying. But he's definitely lost a lot of support over the last couple of years. But yeah, he was apparently a bit of a dick. Fun story. My parents used to know someone who was his gardener for a long time, and said that it was like the 70s and 80s. Maybe it was in the 80s. So he was his gardener in England, and attending to his thing. And Eric Clapton would send his driver out somewhere. He would come back in his car with a big wooden, like not big, but like a wooden box, probably about the size of a laptop, with like a little bit deeper. And it would open up, and there would be a bag of, let's say, narcotics and a bottle of very expensive whiskey. And Eric Clapton would take the stuff and feck off inside and not be seen for about a week. Yep, life of a rock star. Anyway, that was what happened. Well, apparently that was the story he told everyone at a party at my house when I was a kid. I was like 15 or 16 when I heard that. John says, the Beatles' Hard Day's Night. That's a fun one. That is a fun one for sure. Al says, what about Guy Lombardo? Again, guys, you kill me. I don't know. This Could Get Loud. That's a great one. I like that. I do enjoy that. From time to time, I like to slap that on just to check it out. John Bonham story would be cool. Was there a Keith Moon movie made? Do I vaguely remember a Keith Moon story? Or maybe he was part of something else. I'm not sure. Attack of the Killer Clowns should have rock music. That's a shout. Let's see then. The soundtrack from Dazed and Confused is good. Yeah, Dazed and Confused was a good one. It's good music in that. John says, I'm 62 years old and I swear on a Bible I've never discoed. Is that possible? I don't know. SB with Mick Mars looks like Satriani on crack. He does look weird. I will give you that. That's for sure. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, I just his whole outfits and everything is weird. Anyway, Clapton sued a poor old woman for selling a bootleg CD and bankrupting her. He's a dick. He's so arrogant in interviews about his own playing. It makes me sick. From Todd. I think the thing about Clapton is, listen, very, very talented guitar player. Now, at the moment, there's two sides of the story. I like what he's saying about this. I don't like what he's saying about that. That's fine. We're not a channel that discusses those kind of things, guys. But I'll say is the thing that stands out more to me about Clapton is the racist stuff and the being dicks to people stuff. Like that stands out. The stuff when my folks went to see him play live and someone asked him to play like you do at a gig, you shouted up to play a song and he said, oh yeah, I've always wanted to be a DJ. He said, just sit down, I'll play what I play. And it's like, there's no need to be rude to the fans, man. Dude's excited to see you play live, probably waited his whole life to see you. So from what I hear, he's a dick to deal with and to be around. So that's that. His own views and everything, I don't care. I don't give a shit about anyone's views. Whoever, well, if I like your music, I like your music. That's all I care about. If you're a good actor, you're a good actor. I don't care about anything else. You know, but listen, those things are important as well. I just don't care about them myself. So, but yeah, just I hear he's a dick to people. There's lots of people I hear are dicks to people, and it makes me think, oh, they're dicks. So, no, just be less dick-like. Um, yeah, great guitar player, and it's it is what it is. As people say a lot these days, it is what it is. But Clapton, you can't take away. He's still done some great stuff musically down the years. Stephen says Sire T7 is an epic axe if you're looking for serious bang for your buck. Plays like a dream. Defo one to review, Dave. Yeah, I'm Stephen. The reason I haven't watched the Guitarista's video on the Sire guitars that they did recently, I think a few weeks ago, is because I know I'm going to want to buy one. So, but yeah, the Sire, the Larry Carlton Sires, and what's the other one? They did a video of it recently, the vintage one, both ones that I want to check out personally. So yeah, absolutely. Okay, it's definitely, there's definitely some cool stuff out there. The Sires would something I definitely want to pick up. Todd says I'm 53 and can say that I have Discord. Well, to be fair, I was 9 and Kiss made me do it with that stupid song in 1979. It's fine. There's no need to be shamed about your discoing, Todd. It's all good. Let's see. Too many cooks, not enough experts. Presume that's Glary talking about, I'm sure. We here at Chord Dave Live are all experts. Yeah, absolutely, except me. I don't know anything. that's for sure. Not a musician, but a Nick Cage biopic. Yeah, that'd be cool. That would be cool and weird and odd, and just all kinds of wrong. So yeah, absolutely. Can you just imagine what that would be like? Al says, I'm 71, discoed, and I'm ashamed of myself. Oh, don't be ashamed of yourself. Everyone was discoing back in the day. I think I need to be flogged. I'm pretty sure, and I know not everybody is a fan of this band, but I'm pretty sure the Foo Fighters did a disco album a couple of years ago, and nobody talks about it. They did some covers or something. There's nothing to be ashamed of. People were discoing. I think every house had disco albums somewhere hidden in the back. Benny says Yamaha makes drums and motorcycles, though. That's a very good point. Yep. Yep, they do. Anyway, moving swiftly on and pretending I didn't say anything about companies making too many products. I really like the show called McCoy, show about Andy McCoy stumbling through his day. You could have a movie made about him. Ernie says, hey, Ted Nugent movie would be phenomenal if he was involved with putting it together. Here's some crazy stories. Ted Nugent, a Ted Nugent movie. I just can't imagine. Like if they would, how do you edit all of that stuff from all of those years into one movie? Yeah, I don't know. That'd be madness. It would definitely be difficult to get it all together. And thankfully, Todd has that stupid song stuck in his head. Good stuff. Good stuff, Todd. Well done. Which song, by the way? Is it Kiss? Yeah, or like that Kiss song from 1979? Yeah, you know the one. Come on, Dave. We all know Gibson can make quality guitars and merch, hats, shirts, or its new lines of quality banners and hats, and the same old guitar companies can focus on more than one product. I don't know. I don't know, guys. What I want to know is, do Gibson hats have quality control issues? Do Gibson t-shirts have quality control issues? Do Gibson stickers have quality control issues? Or they just outsource those to other companies and it doesn't go wrong? Okay. Oh, Gibson are never going to work with me. It's fine. Al Greason would watch a Ted Nugent movie. Very cool. John says, I'd like to see a good documentary on Roy Buchanan. He should be more well known. George Harrison and Life of Brian. Well, I don't think that was about him, but yeah, he definitely, George Harrison pretty much funded that whole movie, and yeah, a lot of Monty Python stuff after it. Yeah, let's see. You got to be a member of the club to win an Oscar. Yeah, it's very political in the biz. Winning Oscars and things. It tends to be more about money made for companies and people, because don't forget, people who vote for Oscars are people who are like, they run basically Hollywood. So if you make a lot of money for Hollywood people, they will give you an Oscar. The exception to that rule is like the short film stuff and animation. They don't really like the short animations, the short films, short documentaries. Documentaries don't make a lot of money as well, so that one. But yeah, it's all political in Hollywood, whether you win or not. So it's quite interesting when you get into figuring out how it works, but it's all just about money. John says, a good documentary on Peter Green. Good shout. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Let's see. A Weird Al Yankovic movie. That's coming. One of the dudes is a Harry Potter. The dude who played Harry Potter is playing him. So that's coming out next year, I think. It's filming at the minute. So yeah, that'll be. So you're going to get your wish on that one. Let me see. SB says, laughing my ass off at the Clapton story. The Leo Fender movie could be cool. Yeah, that'd be interesting. By the way, just in addition to that Clapton story, I was like, that's amazing. Do you still know Clapton? Could you introduce us? It was like, I don't know him anymore. Dude got fired from being his gardener. Don't know what he did, but he got fired from it. Don't know what he did to get fired, but mustn't have been a great gardener. Or just walked in on the wrong thing. Who knows? I've long had this conspiracy theory that George Harrison and Eric Clapton were swingers, and they just decided they liked each other's wives better. I'm probably going to get banned from YouTube for saying that out loud, but there you go. Is the Chipmunks a biopic? Yeah, I think so. John has some obscure music trivia. The Beatles produced an album together in 1974, 2 years after they broke up, to help save Ringo Starr from starving. George Harrison asked John and Paul to write and produce most of the songs on Ringo's Tree album because his first two sucked. Check out the credits on the LP. Ringo Starr songs written and performed by John, Paul, George, and Harry Nilsson. Interesting stuff there, John. Yeah, hadn't heard that he was about to starve, but yeah, when I grew up, he was Thomas, the voice of Thomas the Tank Engine, when I was a kid, so like a young kid. So that's how I got to know Ringo Starr. Jeff says, hey everyone, check your guitars that are stored in their cases. Fret sprouting is a huge problem this time of year. For half a second when I was reading that, I was like, just check they're still there. Somebody has found a way to make guitars disappear out of cases. I was like, which guitars are in their cases? Not many of them, but yeah, I would be scared. So, yeah, it's definitely worth checking. Fret sprouting is something to take care of while you can. Let's have a look. Marcia says, thanks, Todd. I didn't see your comment. I'll happily steal Dave's audience. Hey, with my 3 current subs. But yeah, you should suggest topics for Dave. We should suggest topics for Dave so we can keep on being his lazy self. Hey, listen, I'm always going to be my lazy self. By the way, I work 10-hour days and then I do YouTube for y'all. So shh, whatever. So yeah, lazy. Uh, Asian Redneck says, gotta go. Have a good rest of your weekend, everyone. Have a good weekend yourself, sir. Thanks for dropping by. Really appreciate it. SB says, yeah, I meant about him being rude to people, like the poor woman he sued for like one bootleg and then he dropped it or whatever. Like, what the hell? Yeah, it was, I think the thing was his legal team got overzealous on that one. I gotta say, the story I read afterwards was that, as soon as he found out that they were like pressing charges and everything on this one woman for his one CD, he was like, "Could you stop making me look like a dickhead?" Um, he told him to stop and not look for things, but it didn't help him. And there's been a lot of things down the years with people coming out saying, "Hey, Eric Clapton's a dickhead." Not talking about his views and everything lately. That's his own opinion. Give your opinion if you want to. As I said, I don't care about people's opinions. As long as I have mine, I'll just make my own opinion up, and that's fine. But yeah, I think he has a poor record of being a dick over the years to people. So anyway, great musician, as I said. Can't get. I honestly think he's one of the finest musicians of all time. For some of the stuff he did in the 60s and 70s. So there you go. Don't go to the guitar when you shouldn't. What do you mean there, John? Don't know, not sure about that. Always go to the guitar, always. Most celebrities are dicks. That's a good point, Al. Yeah, the few I've met, some of them have been, yeah, but not all of them, I would say. They live in a fancy world and should keep their mouths shut. I loved Ricky Gervais at the Emmy where he told all those Hollywood celebrities. It makes great YouTube. Definitely funny stuff. All right, yeah. Took him down a peg or two. Rick Bonneville, nice to see you, sir. How are you doing? Anthony Baltusis, hi Dave. Just got in from getting stuff from the other hobby, tropical fishing. Very cool. Tropical fish keeping, not fishing. Tropical fishing, that would be different. Now sitting in front of my tank, practicing guitar and checking out the show. Life is good. Life is good in that case. Then Anthony, yeah, cool stuff. All right, at some point, fish, is a good hobby to have. Tropical ones indeed. Dave Davis biopic, says David Clark. That'll be fun. Yeah, absolutely. Have you heard of Polypolusma? I don't think so, but maybe you can introduce me, or maybe you will, because I'll probably look that up tomorrow, or her up tomorrow. But Yamaha started making pianos too. That's why their logo has the tuning fork. Interesting. Scott, yeah, they do make a lot of stuff. That Yamaha, that's for sure. Multifaceted company, of course. A lot of Japanese companies are. There you go. Let me see. The Nug, it would be a miniseries. Interesting. Dave, if Rory had been the leader of your perfect band, who are your picks for drummer and bass, etc.? So Rory was in the band as the lead guitarist. It would be, the drummer would be John Bonham, and the bass player would be Duff McKagan, and the singer would be Chris Cornell. Yeah, probably. I don't know. I'd change that answer the next time I was asked it, to be honest. But yeah, Rory Gallagher on guitar. Chris Cornell he could also play like rhythm guitar and sing. Duff McKagan on bass, and Bonzo on the drums. Don't think it gets much better now. One of them I would probably say at sometimes, depending on my mood, say Keith Moon on the drums. But yeah, that'd be those would be the two main swap outs. Chris Cornell would go in there. I might also put Scott Weiland on vocals at times, but mostly it would be Chris Cornell. So yeah, I know singer could change, but Chris Cornell, I think, would be very popular. People would buy those tickets to that show. They had Disco Sucks night at the professional Cleveland baseball game. That sounds fun. They threw so many disco records out onto the field, the home team forfeited the game. All right, sweet. A Thin Lizzy movie might be a good idea. Thin Lizzy movie would be great, Rick. I was trying to remember, as I said earlier, I think there may have been a Phil Lynott one. I'm not sure, but there should be a Thin Lizzy one. Yeah, someone should get working on that. Benny says, I think I might be a boring person. I'd like to see a Seymour Duncan movie. I would watch that. I think anyone half an interest in pickups and swapping pickups and guitar, just the workings of a guitar, would be interesting. I think. But I've been wrong 3 or 4 times before, so who knows? Let's talk Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. BS of putting ABBA in there, leaving people like Johnny Winter out. I agree on the swingers theory. We won't talk about the swingers theory. I think I could get in trouble for that. But the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, as I did a video about Rory not being in it a few weeks ago, and the petition is in every video, by the way. The petition link is going to be there. It's going to be there for about a year. We'll see. If we get enough signatures, maybe I can at some point go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and just make a big stink about it. But yeah, the people who are in there, there's people who are in it who are like, they're no more rock and roll than a ham sandwich. So why are people who are actual rock and roll people not there? Like Rory drank more than anybody and played guitar while stupid drunk, like most rock stars, crazy years have. He did that right up until the end. So the most rock and roll blues person ever. Listen, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a piece of shit, but it's like the Sex Pistols said, it's a piss stain on rock and roll. I'm not a big fan of it, and when they put Rory Gallagher in it, I'll be like, all right, you're better, but still, who cares? It's not great. Rinson says, not rock and roll, but was dragged along to the premiere of the Aha movie this week have to say, great musicianship and songwriting. Fair play to them. I didn't know there was an Aha movie, so brilliant. Yeah, I'd go and see that to be sure, because I think it sounds really interesting. But let's see. So let me see. Al says, so with all the movie suggestions, which one would make money? The truth about movies and whether they make money or not depends on how much advertising is spent on them. The more spent on advertising, the more money they will actually make. You can make anything look good in a trailer, and what you got to hope for is that your reviews come in at least 3 stars out of 5. So make something not completely terrible. But yeah, that's the key. Pretty much advertise the crap out of it and get people to go to it the first week. If people go to the first week, it'll make a lot of money. If people wait to see what the reviews are like, you haven't got a hope in hell. Glenn Bailey says, wait a minute, I thought Clapton traded a Les Paul for George's wife. Something like that, there was a deal done, I think, somewhere along the line. Gibson, everything has QC issues. That's probably true. Just finishing the book Slow Hand about Clapton. He, as from a kid unable to skid past a bad press and issues until the death of his son, my favorite guitarist, been disappointed as a man. He had an interesting life, like the way he was brought up, and I think I'm right in saying he was brought up by either his grandparents or an aunt or something. There's some thing, I don't know. And then everyone, of course, in the 50s and 60s in England apparently went to art college, so he did that. So anyway, we'll try not to give out about him too much because he is a great musician. John says the racist rants have been recorded a few times. That is true, and that's not good at all. That's not acceptable. Stomping, Tom Connor's movie. He has a crazy life story. Let's have responding is like tape delay. Me responding, yeah, I know. I'm so far behind. I always am. I'm catching up. I'm near the bottom. So once I get to the bottom, we're kind of wrap up usually. So if I get to the bottom, guys, that's it. Show's over. No, we'll hang around. Those rants occurred during a time in England where many were questioning those issues. I'm not condoning, but when you're drunk, you do get caught up and drown in the slime. There's a saying in Ireland, what's in when you're sober comes out when you're drunk. And that's what I do believe. That's a true statement. So, yeah, for sure. So anyway, I would say, yeah, you can't hold in the racism when you're drunk. So don't be racist. That's the thing. John says, I'd love a doc on John 5. John 5 would be an interesting one. And Glenn reckons a Jackie Lee biopic. Yeah, for sure. Nice choice on bands. Thanks. Nice call. Thank you. The Rory band. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I think we've done best or supergroups, individual supergroups, if you could put one together, as a question of the stream before. But yeah, it's an interesting one, putting your fancy band together. I think a lot of us would have a lot of the same members in our bands. So, even better than a Leo Fender movie would be a movie about how all the guitar brands we love to hate and hate to love were born starting at the turn of the 20th century when they grew up into geniuses. That's an interesting idea, Marcia. Yeah, if it was, it was possible to do it, because, some of them have quite different origins and so forth. So it would be interesting. Jakey Lee biopic. I mean, I got what you were saying there, Glenn. Yeah, Jakey Lee. It sounds the same, and to my eyes, it was the same. And even though yeah. Anyway, or Joey on drums from Aerosmith. You wouldn't make it into my band. No, I think he'd. Let me see. I don't think he'd make it into my anyone fancy bands. Marcia says, cry me a river, Dave. Just own the being lazy part. We all love and respect you for it. Work schmirk. It's like where's the ban button on this? Just kidding, Marcia. Just kidding. But yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the love and respect. But lazy. Anyway, whatever, it's all good. History of guitar pickups. That would be for the Seymour Duncan stuff. It would be interesting to see how all these things came together. Tony Iommi movie must have been done already. That'd be cool. Yeah, I'd like to see that. Any like a Sabbath movie would be good. In the vein of like a Bohemian Rhapsody. Has anyone heard, by the way, apparently there's a sequel to Bohemian Rhapsody coming out? You know what they're gonna do, because they kind of ended it at the pivotal part right there. It was like the Live Aid. I mean, there was times after that, but really that was the peak, wasn't it? So anyway, I mean, I check it out, but Rory deserves to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame more than ABBA. I agree. So sign the petition and the thing. I just want to say as well, apparently when you click the link, it asks you and you sign it, it says, hey, do you want to donate stuff? That's nothing to do with me. It's nothing to do with the petition. It's purely change.org asking for money. So if you do click on the link, just be aware, I'm not asking for money. Putting money in doesn't help the petition. It only helps change.org, which is a good organization, but just be aware, it's not for me. I'm not asking anyone for money for anything like that. Ryan Byrne, nice to see you, Ryan. Hope you're doing well. The band Slash on lead, Malcolm Young rhythm, Keith Moon, and Chris Cornell. That's a band I'd go and see for sure. That'd be cool. Yeah, for sure. Rick says, got to get back making straps, Dave. Everyone have an excellent night. Good night to you, Rick. Thanks for dropping by. I really appreciate it. Anthony says, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a joke. The real rock and roller would tell them to F off and never look back. That's what the Sex Pistols did. So, yeah, I think it's one of those things that people don't really care about it, but it's a night. I think they get some kind of award or something if they turn up to it. So it's kind of like just something else to brag about. I don't know if they get paid for it or something, what's going on, but Ahmad Ertegun, who's the guy who came up with the idea of it and wanted to put it together and got it going. He's quite an influential guy in music, and interesting story. His life story would be pretty cool. I don't know if there's one made of him already, but that would be worth watching. I think so. What was one I watched recently? Oh, it was a David Geffen one on Netflix. That was dramatization, I think, or maybe it's just a really weird documentary. But that was a fun one. You should watch that if you've got time. Over the next while. What was the name of the new wave film with the police in it before they were famous? I don't know if it's what you're if we're thinking on the same thing, but I know Sting was in Quadrophenia. It's probably not the same thing at all because I don't think that was a New Wave film, but that was a fun film actually. Quadrophenia. Scott Bogman says straps, guitar straps. Yeah, Rick makes straps himself. Some pretty cool ones. I think we might be taking a look at them at some point, I think, in the future. So he's getting back to making some of them. It's going to be very interesting to see those. He's sent me some pictures. I must show you guys on the stream some stage. David Ruiz says, someone needs to do a proper Jimi Hendrix biopic. Everything that has been done up till now has been pure garbage. Correct. It has been pure garbage. SB, the wife guitar swap. That burn was on point. Plus Harrison got stabbed while the robber stole the Les Paul. Yeah, kind of sucked. But interesting. Interesting moments in a movie. At some point, maybe we'll get to see it in a fictionalized thing on a huge screen. That'd be cool. How about a fictional movie about what may have happened had band members not ended up with the bands they ended up in? Like, what if GNR didn't merge from their two respective bands? Yeah, well, they both would have been mediocre bands. It would have been, yeah, stuff like that. But that can be done with so many musicians. I suppose you could do stuff like that. Yeah, fictional versions of stuff like that would be interesting. It'd be kind of hard to come up with. You need a really good writer to come up with that, and writers, trust me, as having been one for a while, are just full of themselves and they think they know everything. So yeah. It would probably be very bad, but it's an interesting idea. And John says, I meant you, not me, Dave. I meant me, not you, Dave. Yeah, it's okay, John. We're all cool. No. Oh yeah. I get you for your band, absolutely. I just absolutely wouldn't have Joey in my band just for putting it out there. That's, yeah, I know what you meant though. It's all good. Clapton was brought up spoiled by his grandmother, thinking it was his mother. Mother left after he was born. He tried to re-enter his life when he was a teenage guitar star prior to the Yardbirds. Yeah, I know something like that. Yeah. Interesting, as I said, interesting life for sure. Stomping Tom was awesome. I saw him when he was a kid at Maple Leaf Gardens with my dad before a hockey game. Great show. Interesting stuff, Ryan. Yeah, great. Marcia says, I was so sad when CBGB went bye-bye. It sucked that it couldn't get saved as a historical building. Yeah, it's all about the money, isn't it? That's what it is. Randy Rhoads needs a biopic. That's a shout for sure. Absolutely. Ramones biopic. I would like to see that. That would be. Is there a Ramones biopic, or am I just thinking that there was Ramones representations in other movies? That's probably what it was. John says, am I the only person who thinks Tellys and Strats and Tellys look better with various paint colors than they do on Les Pauls? I'm sure you're not, John. Some people only like Strats. Some people only like Tellys. Some people are very Les Paul. Some people are very SG. And some people are anti all four of those things. When it comes to it, though, it's all personal taste. You know, there's lots of different things. There's no right answer when it comes to it. But I think for me, it comes like, if I'm looking at a Strat, I prefer Strats with maple necks, Tellys as well. And I wouldn't like a Les Paul with a maple neck or an SG, to be honest with you. So I think they're different for different reasons, different uses for them, and different they're different styles altogether. So in terms of different colors, I don't think so. I think it's weird though, seeing the same like bursts and stuff. I don't think work as well on some guitars. A cherry sunburst for me doesn't work on a Strat, but other people love it. So, but at the same time, a tobacco burst looks fine. So I don't know. Ryan Byrne. Oh, and bass Entwistle. Entwistle would be a great bass player in your band. Yeah, absolutely. That'd be cool. Wayne McConnell says, hello from Canada. Nice to see you, Wayne. Absolutely. Says Stomping Tom, true legend. Absolutely. SB, a biopic about Gibson's robot tuners. For sure. Wait till the comeback next year when they release them at NAMM in January, and everyone's like, oh my god, these are the robot tuners we've been waiting for. And then I don't know, something happens. That would be a fun one. That'd be a fun one. I'm pretty sure at some point, Norm from Norm's Rare Guitars, there's going to be a movie made about him at some point. It's nearly guaranteed, um, because of who he's dealt with and stuff like that. Who else? Ah, it's just so many people. Randy Rhoads is a good choice. It definitely is. Um, did anyone mention the Kiss movie, The Phantom? That was, well, it was a movie, says Ernie B. Yeah, it was a movie. It was. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. Um, let me see. We've totally forgot to talk about the new Peter Jackson Beatles Get Back. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. More, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I get it. It's more just a documentary, just a filming of behind the scenes. I did like it. Enjoyed every episode or every night of it that it was on. So I watched it like 3 nights in a row. It was definitely incredible to see the Beatles just sitting around and then coming out with these songs that are like famous, great tunes. They just seem to come out of nowhere. That was a lot of fun. Michael Hutchins movie. Was there one? Or was there, again, a lot of these is like there should have been a movie about that. About that person. Ryan Burns says no good Jimi movie will be made unless his family are paid huge first, and that's why the one with Under 3000 didn't use any of his songs. Yeah, his family are a bit of a problem. The foundation, the Hendrix Foundation, isn't it? Or the Hendrix, or whatever it's called. Yeah, everything's about money. So yeah, that would suck. Or that does suck, because you're probably right about that. And Scott says until it's public domain, yeah, but I mean, I suppose it's not too long now. I suppose, what's it, 75 years now for public domain? So, well, when did he die? 69. So probably another 20 years or something. Um, yeah, my maths is not very good. So yeah, 25 years, something like that. He's It would be interesting, but who knows? Hopefully they eventually will make a good movie. Ben says, I got a split. It was lovely hanging out with you cats for a bit and enjoyed it. Take care, fellas. And thanks to Dave. Yeah, thanks, Ben. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for joining us. It was super fun getting your opinion and chat here. Really appreciate it. Al says, I believe I saw that there's a documentary of CBGB on Amazon Prime. Yeah, there definitely should be. I've seen a couple of things about CBGBs a few times, I think. Not necessarily what's on Amazon, but just over the years, different documentaries and things. John says, I prefer Strat Tele Maple Necks 2. Yeah, it's I don't know. I think I just like them better. And also it differentiates them. It's like, yeah, I want a maple neck to Tele or a Strat, whatever. And I just think they look great. So there you go. The few maple neck, or yeah, the maple fretboards on Les Pauls I've seen look awful. So they just don't know anything for me whatsoever. Anthony says, I'd like to see a movie about Hammerjacks. It's long gone now, but at one time it was the infamous rock and roll bar in Baltimore. Interesting. Yeah, that sounds cool. An infamous rock and roll bar. I'm sure there's great stories about it, so that'd be definitely worth checking out for sure. And Glenn agrees. Hammerjacks, yes. Real musicians tune their own guitars. Am I right? Let's say yes, because nobody else tunes mine. So, I presume you mean about the robot tuners. Yeah. Well, they were fun. Some people like them. I've never actually used them, the robot tuners, but I'm sure at some point I'll add a set of robot tuners to my collection just for the crack. I think I've said before, if it's one of the Les Paul Les, I think it was Choi Pup said recently he picked one up, Les Paul Les from 2015. I'm trying to hold out to get a gold top one of those. They're very rare, as in there's only a couple of hundred of them were made, and when they pop up from time to time they get snapped up. So that's what I'm looking for. If you see one, let me know. But try and make it not until the end of April, because I don't want to buy any guitars until the end of April. So I'm struggling with things like the Yamaha and so forth. That amazing Telecaster that came out a few weeks ago. Real musician, yeah, that's the one I was just talking about. Kiefer Sutherland is producing a doc on Norms. Oh well, yeah, actually, now you mention it, I think I saw something about that during the week. That's going to be very cool. Kiefer Sutherland, very good guitar player in his own right. Big guitar collector apparently. So for sure that would be. I think he's going to put a lot of love into that. That'll be cool. Al says, so Dave, what is the best music-inspired movie and who should have made one in your opinion? Well, let me just check out. 2 more likes, guys, and I'll tell you. I'll answer that question. 2 more likes. The best one, and has the best one, as my opinion, come up yet? I don't know. I think what I like, the one I like the best, is not going to be what you guys like the best. I think you're going to be like, that was a crap movie. And who should have one, I think, has probably been mentioned. So anyway, let me see what we've got. Where are we now? The Perfect Band, Primus Claypool on bass, vocals by Chris Cornell, Jeff Beck on guitar, and Charlie Watts on drums. There's going to be a lot of Chris Cornell on vocals, but you can't have him. He's in my band. I said it first. Sorry. Anthony says, I got some Hammerjacks stories. I wish I could remember them. Yeah, that's the problem with bars. Sometimes the stories ain't so crystal clear the next day. I haven't been to a bar in a couple of years, so. But I do know a couple. Scott says, ZZ Top and Billy G movie would be cool. There's a very cool documentary on Netflix called, I think it's called The Biggest Little Band from Texas or something like that. Yeah, very, very cool stuff. Great band. Bill Gibbons, of course, excellent. Would be cool to see that. Actually done a fictionalized movie at some point, probably. And I'm already growing the beard for the audition. So we'll see what happens. Todd Moore says, ask some YouTuber guy. He's got some robo tuners, I bet. I'm sure he does. I was trying to go one whole live stream without his name being mentioned because, you know, people, every time I mention his name, people assume I'm ragging on him. It's not always true. So I'm not going to say his name in this one, but YouTuber guy, that guy. Watch the video of Joe Walsh tuning his guitar by ear in about 10 seconds. Yeah, my dad used to do that when he played. He used to just like, there we go. And it was always spot on. So some people are just very good at that. I'm not. So yeah, it doesn't drop off the tree, as they say. Phil Segura, hey Dave, listening to my favorite blues show tonight, but dropping in to say hi from JP. And leave you a like. Thanks always for the live stream. Thanks, Phil. Appreciate you dropping by. Thanks for leaving the like as well. That's super cool of you. Glenn Bailey says, saw Kix Vixen Michael Schenker at Hammerjacks. This Hammerjacks place sounds cool. Should go there. obviously you've said it's already gone, but or not a thing anymore. But yeah, sounds like a cool place for sure. David Ruiz says, I'm an 80s kid and prefer my Strats to be super with active humbuckers and pointy headstock and a Floyd Rose. That takes a month to tune. Super Strats are cool. For sure. Very 80s, the old Super Strat. Todd Morris says, I tune by ear. My bass player is like, how the hell do you do that? I saw, who was it? Wolf Mother. You guys remember Wolf Mother? They had a couple of big albums. They had one big album and then a follow-up was not so big a few years ago, maybe 10, 15 years ago. And the guy, they were an Australian band, and the guy, the lead singer and guitar player, played an SG, did a song with Slash on the first solo album. And I saw them playing together at some gig, and the dude couldn't tune his guitar on stage. Slash just took it off him and tuned it and was like, there you go. So yeah, lots of people, even at a high level, are able to not tune their guitars by ear properly. But yeah, let me just say, people who can tune by ear have a talent I will never have. That's for sure. People who've watched me playing guitar on YouTube will know that I'm not always 100% sure whether I'm in tune or not. Apologies. So, also, I don't care. So there you go. Phil says the Blues Brothers, that's been brought up a lot of times. A lot of people showing the love for the Blues Brothers, and I gotta agree with it all the way. Glenn says, watch out if you say the T word 3 times, he will appear. That's why I'm not saying it. Not saying the word. absolutely not. Not saying whose name. Thanks for the show as always, Dave. Thank you, Scott, for dropping by and for being part of it. We really appreciate it. Don't know whose name you're talking about. Sorry. Al says, heard Billy G plays sevens in his guitar after BB King asked him why he works so hard. Yeah, I heard that. Yeah, he's just like, screw it, just play this. And you can't say that Billy Gibbons is not a great guitar player. It's one of the best. One of the best. Apollo said sevens could bend 2 full tones, then it snapped. It's always a problem. I actually play eights on most of mine. Is it eights? It's not eights, it's nines, is it? These ones. Nines, not eights. Not endorsement or anything, but these are my strings, the Super Slinkies. So, Ernie Balls for the win, by the way. If Ernie Ball wants to sponsor me, that'd be great. Do the old making money on YouTube thing. Let's see. But yeah, sevens. So yeah, I gotta drop down 2. I don't know. I think it'd feel pretty weird. But I might give it a go sometime. I've got enough guitars I could throw them on. Of course, you got to change. You got to adjust your nut and everything. And yeah, seems like too much work for Dave because he lazy. According to some people who watch the show. John says, I'm still trying to tune my Strat with a floating tremolo. Yeah, well, best of luck with it. Todd says, I have an Ibanez with a floating Strat style bridge. I feel your pain. Yeah, I was going to say, there's floating bridges seem a little bit awkward. Fenders is a maturity thing. Then comes a telly. Yeah, tellies are kind of the one I think in some ways, and by some people, tellies are underrated. So we should talk about that at some point. For sure. Bands I saw at Hammerjacks: Kiss, GNR, Ace Frehley, White Lion, Bad Company, Ted Nugent, Warrant, and dozens of national and local bands back in the 80s. What a great time to be young. Some pretty cool bands right there. Some pretty cool bands. Yeah, that's excellent. So it sounds like a right good place. Unfortunately, a lot of places I went to as a kid or like a young teenager or whatever, shut down as well. It's just the way it goes. We used to go to places, I suppose they were not the safest places. I remember one place we used to go to, and a lot of cover bands would play there because it's the countryside pretty much. But yeah, so they used to have like Nirvana tribute bands and Pearl Jam bands, and I think it may have been a Guns N' Roses tribute at some point, like all kinds of these tribute bands. And like people would just come out, get in their car and drive away because it was the middle of nowhere. And it's like, this is not good, because it was a bar as well. It was a bar, and their main source of income was selling beer. So yeah, it was sometimes I don't know how we survived our teenage years and young 20s, early 20s in this part of the world. Anyway, Benny says, Dave, tried the Darios, especially NYXL. Yeah, people have told me that those are great strings. I'm just so set in my ways. I ordered the Ernie Balls literally by instinct. I'm like, better get some guitar strings and pop them in. So I have a lot of sets there at the minute. Most of my guitars need to be restrung at the minute. So maybe I'll get all that done and get them. But yeah, I will, Benny. At some point, I will buy some. I promise. I just don't know when that's going to be, because as I said, I'll be buying stuff and I'll be like, just throw in some strings, and I don't even think about it. Just buy them again. So I have to try and remember to do it. Buy the right ones. Ernie Ball 10s on all of mine except a 7-string that's got 11s. My luthier friend told me that really what you should do is have on a Telly and a Les Paul have 10s, and then you used to like have 9s then on everything else. I was like, no, put 9s on everything. Put my Super Slinkies on everything. But there you go. But strings do make a huge difference. So but yeah, Billy Gibbons plays 7s, so can't argue with that. Let's see. By the way, Jimmy, Billy Gibbons' gauge is one size up and everything else is 2 steps up. 8, 10, 12 versus 8, 11, 13 on most other string brands. The string company thing itself. Okay. I used to raise hell, and now I'm in bed by 9:30. There you go. Don't tell Marcia; she'll complain about it. Yeah, we're all the same. I used to go out and come home to get changed for work. Those are the days. Used to go to gigs or parties or both, and yeah, literally there was times I worked in a shop once, and because I've always like worn glasses since I was like a teenager, I was working in this place, this retail store. I was a manager in there. I was like a junior manager, and I kept my sunglasses on because I was like, if I take my sunglasses off, they're gonna see I'm still drunk, and I stayed away from everyone. And my manager did call me one at one stage. He's like, "Why are you wearing sunglasses?" I was like, "Oh, they're prescription. I broke my other ones. I can only wear these." Did not get fired, so it was a great success. Uh, Left that job shortly afterwards, though. Don't do that kind of thing anymore. But yeah, that was hell raising was fun back in the day. Todd says, grew up in Birmingham, Alabama. Lots of hard rock and metal bands played to large or sold out crowds. I saw some legendary tours from 1979 on. But now it's all rap shows because, you know, rap's taken over. Because rap is in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame now. So just more to talk about that. Glenn Bailey, Faster Pussycat rocked that place. 9:30, you madman. Me, 6 have to be at work at 3. Yeah, early morning starts are. This is how it goes. That's how it goes. Dave, do you think most guitarists realize that coded strings are only coded on the wound strings and not on the plain strings? I don't know, John. To be honest with you, it's. I mean, there's guitarists here, so you can check them out and see what you think. I don't. I don't think I don't think a lot of people do. Coded strings have never been. I've never been super interested whether they were or not. To be honest, whether they feel good or not. To me, and as I said, the super slinkies do me. That's all I ever need. I think we're going to wrap up, dudes. So I'll just throw it up there, just in case anyone has a reminder that you can get your 3-Chord Dave merch. Following links in description of every video if you want to do so and get some 3-Chord Dave stuff. They look kind of like this when they come, and this has been washed a few times now, so it's holding up pretty well. Can be seen through beards and everything. So there you go. Anyway, guys, let's see. Al says, you didn't answer your own question. I didn't get a second like, Al. So you didn't get the 29. So we need one more like and then I'll answer it for sure. No, my favorite biopic when it comes to music was probably, I think it was the Ray Charles one. I really enjoyed that, and at the time I was kind of really heavy into listening to Ray Charles anyway, so I dug that very much. Who should get one? I was always going to say Guns N' Roses, to be quite honest. I'd love to see a Guns N' Roses biopic at some point, done in the way that like a Bohemian Rhapsody or something like that was done. I think it'd be a lot of fun. So yeah, because the books are crazy. Like I was reading Duff's book and Slash's book and being like, how are these people still alive? I think they're just people who don't know like casual fans of the band would be like, how the hell did we not know this stuff? So yeah, some cool stuff going on in that movie. Anyway, it's all good. It's all good. Some good stuff coming in, guys. So anyway, lots of thanks for the shows coming in, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. You guys make the show. I just get up here and talk for a couple of hours. I really appreciate it. Every week. It's a great way to cap the week off for me. SB says, gotta bounce to get beer. Till next week, guys, stay frosty. Absolutely, SB. Thanks for dropping by. Really appreciate it. Todd Moore, peace and love, TCD family. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Todd, because, we like having you here. Pleasure as always, my friend. Alan says, I have coded strings on my acoustics. I don't play it that often. And let me see. Marcia says, personally don't feel anything different on the Dario XT and XS strings. They're really good. So there you go. Grandpa Joe, nice of you to drop by this week, Grandpa Joe. We do appreciate it every week. Thank you so much. Have a great week, Dave, and everyone. Cheers to all. Yeah, cheers to you, Joe. Thank you. The coatings are amazing and don't feel coated at all. Sound great. Excellent. Benny says a GNR pick would be cool. We'll be there together. I think Benny will be watching that. It'd be pretty cool. Great chatting with y'all, says Anthony. Absolutely, Anthony. Great to chat to you. How is Keith Richards still alive? You got to ask that kind of question at the start of a stream, John, but definitely one to be looked into. Cushman says, great show, Dave. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And yeah, thanks for dropping by. Really, really do like seeing all you guys every week hanging out here. It's cool. And a lot of you come back. So thank you so much for that. And let me see. Al letting us go with peace, love, Dave. So thanks so much, guys. It is a pleasure, as it always is. Take care for the week ahead. Be good to yourselves and be well. And I will talk to you guys next Saturday. Hopefully I will actually get a video out this Tuesday. Again, there's still a week of work to do before I get some time off. So hoping Tuesday and Thursday there will be a video. There'll obviously be a guitar wish list on Monday as well. So check that out if you want to see something interesting. This week's one was cool. We didn't talk about it on the live stream. Epiphone Professional. Very cool. Anyway, check it out if you haven't yet. And I'll see you next Saturday. Thanks for joining me. Take care.